Don't be scared. Don't be scared to lose. Never be scared to lose. If this business failed, I would not feel like I let down anyone but myself. But that's why we do well, because I took the risk to do it. Every day we take big risks in business. Everything's a risk.
Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden. They're about to see us shine, cause we're golden. They can never break us down, cause we're golden.
How are ya?
Timmy, brother, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
It's I was having to think about this during the week when obviously I knew I was coming up here and we're going to do a pod.
Yeah.
But I thought back to the very first pod that we did.
Yeah.
Which was maybe 7-8 months ago.
Yeah, 8 months
9
ago.
months ago.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
It was when I first got my factory.
It was when I had my fight. So it was like, yeah, about that.
So, and I just thought back to the conversation we had then and how different the conversation we're going to have now is.
Yeah,
just because back then, it was kind of the beginning, right? So
Yeah.
you had a little bit of success, but it was still very unknown.
Only just coming into our own, yeah.
Which I think it's cool, man. And I mean, we're in the HQ, right? Which is
hectic.
It's pretty awesome.
I think maybe we might have still been at home.
Yeah, you didn't have this, no.
Nah, we still might have been had our stuff in our house, just wall to wall in the house.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Because the conversation we had back then was more about you, right?
Yeah.
And kind of the
space
journey
I was in, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be. I mean, we still want to make this about you, but I think this conversation is going to be about how I kind of want to go over the journey and kind of go through.
Yeah.
Create a bit of a timeline and talk about the front runner journey and how it's all kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Let's go kind of back to that time then.
Yeah.
And
when it started.
Yeah. So,
March 2020.
March 2020.
Yeah, March 2020 is when COVID first hit.
Yeah.
And I was fresh. I was off TV waiting for another TV show to air. And I knew that I was about to have another influx of people being interested in what I'm doing, where I am. But I knew that from the first show, that's only a small window that you get with people being actually interested in what you're doing. So yeah, personally, yeah. Like you're on TV, you're not. I wasn't like. I'm just like any other person that was on TV. No one really cares about you. 6 months later, they want to know what you're doing, which girls you're kissing, like straight after you get off. But no one really cares what you're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I had 5 minutes to capture everyone's attention, and how I was going to do it, I still wasn't sure. So the original idea was COVID hit, and I was like, fuck, let's try capitalise on this. What's everyone doing? Everyone's at home. I didn't have a gym. Let's look for some booty bands and shit like that to sell. I was with my mate. My mate was a PT, and he was going to do we're going to sell booty bands and ab sliders and foam rollers and all gym accessories and stuff. Anyway, got the samples for the booty bands, had it all ready to go, and my mate was writing programs, and we were going to do it together. And I was like, I want to design a tee for the brand. And then I just started looking into design for the tees, and I just fell in love with it. And I was just like, fuck, because I had the opportunity for the first time ever to go, like, I've always loved clothes, but to really ask myself the question, what sort of tee do I like? What would be a perfect tee for me?
Mm.
And then I just started falling in love with it, eh? And then I ended up saying to my mate, like, you can have the booty business. I'm gonna go and do clothes on my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just started on Alibaba, one out by myself, late nights, just asking heaps of questions, and then just try testing out different manufacturers. Had one design, and just got it done by like 10 different manufacturers, and some of them came back. Some of them came back terrible. Some of them came back really good. There was like 3 that came back like good, but then I just weighed it up with other factors like communication, like there was one guy who was just stand out better at communicating, and I thought this is going to make it a lot easier. And then I just sat with him for about 3 months every night, asking him questions, sending him photos of me holding t-shirts, like, can you do this? Like, say, like, we have this embossing, I know it's called embossing now, it's like a 3D application, but like, I wouldn't know what this was back in the day. I didn't know what anything was, so I would just send photos and say, what's this? What's this? I'd go to shops, buy some stuff. Actually, I would have to. It was a fucking long process because I couldn't even go to the shops and look. That's how I knew I was a visual learner, a kinesthetic learner. So I wanted to go and touch and feel, and then ask the questions, but I couldn't do that. So I had to scroll online, order shit in to ask the questions. I spent so much money on research, but I definitely went the long way. But it got me there in the end because now I know exactly what I want.
What are some of the challenges in the early days? You know, like what are some of the challenges that you go through starting a business like this in the early days? Because I think one of the misconceptions is that from an outsider's perspective or someone who's maybe not in business, like fashion can be seen a lot of the time as something that's quite easy.
Yeah.
Right. But then
I think people think that me and Bree have like made it look easy.
Yeah.
Like I get so many people like, oh, how do we do this? How do we do that?
Yeah.
Like I put a lot of it down to not luck, but everything fell in perfectly. Me and Bree are completely different personalities. I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. Like she does everything on the back end, which I wouldn't have been able to do. Like I probably, to be honest, I wouldn't have been able to get the business off the ground because I don't have any time to sit on a computer and fill out forms or any of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Or anything nitty gritty, small, forget about it. That's not me.
Forget about it.
I'm a big visionary. I've got the big ideas. I can make big decisions really easily. I can see the big picture. Sometimes too much, but you need the other half. You need the yin and the yang in business.
Yeah.
That's what I know, and I say that to anyone who like. I think Adzi Farrugia from Love Island, he started a brand at the same time as me, and I was just thinking he's doing everything. Like he's ordering, designing, and he's pick and packing, and he's doing all that, and that's why I think that's why he did one drop, because it's just too hard. You need a second person.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like I knew nothing about business, so I brought in my best mate who's built a business from the ground up. Now has 60 employees.
Yeah.
And I've brought him into the business.
Yeah.
And said that now you steer us in this direction. So now he's given the whole business structure. We're not shooting blind. We're not shooting blind at all. We have fucking 3 like perfect personalities running this business.
Yeah, and that's kind of where what I meant is that when I sat down, obviously with you and Jai the other day, and obviously knowing what Bree's role in the business from what you've told me, it's kind of like, I think from the outside looking in, it's very, people wouldn't see how tightly operated of a ship this is. You know what I mean? And the effort that goes into each of those roles. And how perfectly they're actually playing.
They're perfect. Their role. Yeah, there's a book that Jai, my business partner, my best mate, made me read. It's called Rocket Fuel, and it talks about a visionary and a integrator, and how you need in every good business that has ever thrived, like even like McDonald's. Who's the guy who started McDonald's?
The property guy.
Yeah. You hear about it talks about it in the book. You hear about the guy who started McDonald's. You hear about Henry Ford, but then he names all their integrators, and he said that they wouldn't have been able to do it without you. The integrator doesn't get the accolades and the pats on the back, but they're just as much as important as the visionary. But yeah, we got it all. We got it all in that sense, and we don't have to it's just perfect that we had it straight away, because you definitely need it all.
But that's the point I was just going to make, is that a lot of people you can easily try to steer away from partners.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people badmouth partners and say, never get business partners, never get this, never get that. But
no, you need to get a partner with the qualities that you don't have.
Yeah.
Because we're not all superheroes.
Exactly.
We can't do it all. But yeah, and another important part is to know your role in the business and to know what you're doing and to respect each other's roles and keep that clear. Bree never comes into my lane. I never go into her lane because I have no idea what's doing on her end, and she has no idea what's happening at my end. But she trusts that everything I'm doing is right.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I mean, you guys have grown pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, in terms of, it feels like you've been in business a lot longer than a
Yeah.
year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I think...
we're the new kid on the block. We're coming for them. I reckon everyone knows too. Everyone knows. We're starting to get all the big... It's gone from me reaching out to people, influencers, footy players, asking them, can I send you some stuff, to them following us, them buying it, and then like...
I think it talks to the product though, man.
Yeah,
like it really does.
And we are product faced. We are product orientated. Yeah. Product orientated. Product focused.
And I think
everything goes in. Everything is product.
You really care about it though, don't you?
Oh, fucking oath! Everything is product, and like a lot. I've said it on a reel I did before. A lot of people talk about telling the story, building a brand, doing this, mate. If you got a good product, it fucking sells. And we got one of our marketing agency says that we have the highest return customer rate that he's seen. Our return customer rate's like 65%, which is high. And we know, we know once someone buys one thing, they're going to buy again.
Yeah. So shout out to Nicole, someone in my family.
Yeah.
That wouldn't miss a drop.
Yeah.
Just
right.
wouldn't miss one.
Yeah.
And I think I remember you saying that to me. Once you get a customer, you don't lose them. But I think that it's true because it's the same, mate. I buy. I continuously buy.
Yeah.
And I think you guys nail the product. And I think it's interesting because I think there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Like there's different business types, different business models and stuff like that. But I think if you can be product orientated and you can get the product right,
it's so important.
The rest happens.
Exactly.
And
right.
you get to spend less money on the rest.
And you know what? I know our product's good. I know what good high-end quality clothes are, and that just people just aren't using the fabrics and shit that we're using because they're so expensive. Because my whole what do I call it? My whole
vibe, vision.
Like the rules I give myself.
Yeah.
The rules I make for myself is to make the best quality product. I've got Jai in my ear talking about margins. I've got Bree in my ear talking about margins. And I go, I don't give a fuck. They go, how can we bring this product down a bit? No, we don't bring the product down a bit. We find ways to save money other ways.
Yeah.
The product stays.
Yeah, because you said the other day that there's some products that you might not make money on.
Some products we didn't make money on our tees for the first like 8 months. We didn't really make any money on our tees. We're charging $59 for them. They're fucking expensive to make. We don't save any money. We don't screen print. Everything's embroidered nicely. We use different applications. A big thing with me when I'm designing, I really want. I think texture is important. I really like to feel the product.
This would be, I think, a kind of good conversation though. So like, because you are so invested in the actual product itself.
Yeah.
Like, what's the process for you? In terms of how do you think about, how do you create a product in your mind? Like, what are kind of the steps that you go through, or at least kind of the frameworks that you use to, okay, this is quality, this is not.
I know what's quality. Just from how I put it on, but I've been wearing clothes for fucking 29 years. I know, and I've been buying clothes since I was 15. Expensive clothes, wasting a lot of my paychecks on clothes, and I know what goes through the wash, what lasts and what doesn't. And so a lot of my process was just taking, a lot of my process was getting my good clothes and asking questions about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'd have a jumper that I've had for fucking 10 years, and I'd be like, what is this fabric? Like, how come it's doing this? and sort of figured it out in that way. And also another big thing for me is because I'm so big, nothing fits me.
Yeah.
And I know that's a fucking big problem in the world because people are getting bigger, but clothes aren't getting bigger. People say oversized. I go into Culture Kings. I still have to buy a 4XL for it to be oversized on me. That's not right.
It's so true because I wear a large. Front runner's the only thing I wear a large in.
And you'll be wearing 2XL.
Yeah, either
else.
XL or 2XL.
Yeah, I think the sizing in the world, I think it's wrong anyway.
Especially in the world of e-commerce, man. Like, you know, I've bought a few things in the last couple of months that aren't front runner.
Yeah.
Tees or so on, and sorry, bro. Sorry. But had to send them back.
Yeah.
And
we get a lot of returns. We do. At the start, we get a lot of returns.
Yeah.
Because they're expecting normal sizing. But people never ask for their money back. They just want a return.
But that's, I mean, why do they think it's not like that's that normal sizing? Is it really oversized? And like, more importantly, like this is the thing for me is like, now I've got to wait fucking 5 weeks until I can get the thing because shipping back and shipping there is obviously, and obviously you're in that world as well. And it happens everywhere. But, you know, maybe it's because I was basing my buying on front runner on sizing. Right. But yeah, I think as well, like the fits of t-shirts and stuff like that as well is like,
yeah, it's so important.
Especially if it's oversized. Like if you're buying oversized, you want oversized.
Yeah, exactly.
So so you're a creative mind, right? So you're about the feel, right? And so on. So what are some of the things that you look for then? You know, when you say we talk about feel. So you mentioned texture.
Yeah, texture. So like if you have a look in the boxes over there at the top of that rack, there's hundreds and hundreds of samples that never made the cut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I told you this last time about I had to put it on and love it. Did I say that?
I don't know.
Yeah, how I have to. At the start, I was designing like if you see some of the tracksuits and shit that I was designing at the start, they were pretty wild, and like they didn't sell like as well as our tees, and then I had to ask myself why aren't they selling? Like why aren't they selling? And I was like, because they're not fucking good. Like I wouldn't buy them. Like I wouldn't buy that blue tracksuit. I would wear it because I made it and I think it's cool. It took me 3 months to design. Yeah. So in my head, it's cool. But if I drop all that and saw it on a rack, I wouldn't buy it. So I have to drop that every single time. And even if we get to, we've spent months designing it, and it gets here, and I put it on, and it doesn't. I don't feel the fucking grouse in it. Pfft, see you later. Mm-hmm. I've got a great designer too. Yeah.
Well, that's probably the next thing that I wanted to talk about is like how do you guys see yourselves expanding? Like what are some of the, because you said that you brought on a designer.
Yeah, we brought on a designer 3 days a week, which is pretty much full time for us because 3 days a week we get so much done. We're so far ahead. We're planning spring next year already. We're in production.
How far ahead do you have to be?
You have to be about 5 months ahead.
And what does that include? So when we say 5 months ahead,
that's 5 months ahead goes from idea, and then takes probably 2 weeks to get a spec done. Mm-hmm. Idea, then we draw, we mood board, then we come to a conclusion with the design. Mm-hmm. Then we sample. Yep. The sample comes. We're getting better at one shot, one kill at the moment now that we got our shapes. But to get your shape, it takes 2 weeks to get one sample. Like those shorts I showed you just before, took like 4 or 5 goes.
Really?
So that's like they're months.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's So idea, sample, potentially sample again, but one sample takes 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But if you have to measure it up, it's wrong. Has to go again, another 2 weeks, and then production. That once you finally get your post production sample right, then it goes into production. Production's about 30 days, and then you want 2 months on a boat to get it here. So we're doing it. We were doing it quicker because we were air freight and everything, but we're losing half our margin. making no money.
So that's why you have to get ahead.
That's why you have to get ahead.
Because then you're making more money.
Yeah, because it cost like $16 a kilo to ship it by air, and it costs like $5 a kilo to ship it by sea.
Crazy.
And when you're doing 500 kilos at a time, like every couple of weeks, it fucking adds up.
And that's what I mean. I think that's the misconception, right? Like it's of the, the outside looking in.
Yeah.
It's that it's it's easy in
a
sense.
And that wheel's constantly turning. And then once the product comes, then we got to shoot. Like a lot of my time, which I'm trying to hand over to a girl that we've just brought on. Alana, you've seen her. She does our modeling. She's real cool. She's trendy. I'd love to hand over to her as a stylist role, as a stylist creative director role, because that's something that takes up a lot of my time. That like I can see myself using my time better. But it's so important that you get the right person in that role, because you can do this whole process from what I just told you, the 5 month process, and fall short at the finish line if it's not shot right. Like that's just as fucking important.
It's a production line, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that talks to what you were talking about before with everybody being in their roles.
Yeah.
Right, because everybody's playing a role within that production line.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone has to be on, but then like, but it's always constantly turning, like always constantly. It's when something gets here, you're shooting while we're shooting, dropping, we're still designing. Something's on the boat, like something's always happening.
Do you have a structure to your week then?
Oh, I don't. I'm pretty all over the shop, to be honest. Yeah. Like I want to get back into like more structure, but I don't know. Sometimes.
You're a creative mind, man.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. The creative juices aren't always flowing. Like sometimes I'll come here at like 9 o'clock at night. I'll be like fucking on.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if I'm doing something creative, I'll come here at 6 o'clock in the morning before I go to training and get it all out. Because it doesn't, for me during the day, I'm not the best during the day. I don't know how.
Do you like so? Based around the flow of the company then though, because like do you guys have like a set structure in terms of like when things coming in, or it's kind of like
we know when everything's coming in. Yeah, the bit that we got boards. We know everything that's coming in when it's coming in. Yeah, we do have a structure month to month.
Yeah,
and it's fucking flat out.
Yeah,
trying to do two drops a month. We churn out a lot of clothes. There is no brand that's been around for a year that's churning out the amount of clothes that we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you think you've grown personally throughout the journey?
Oh, I'm not even the same person that I used to be at all. No. Yeah, it's wild. Sometimes I have a little itch to be that person again, eh?
Yeah.
A little bit, because life gets. But I love.
You love what you've got.
Yeah, I'm so fulfilled by this. Like I never thought I would like. Who gets to go to work and like love what they're doing and be like I just thought that was like just a saying, Go make sure you do what you love. I never thought I'd want to do what I love.
Yeah.
Ever. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. What about from a business perspective? So like, because I know you've got your role, right?
Yeah.
But I think it can be, like to grow a company to the level that you have,
yeah,
right? And that quickly,
yeah.
Your mind has to expand.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And you have to grow, because it's as much as this is great and as much as this is amazing and you're grateful for it.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of pressure that comes with this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, like
we have had months. We have had months where we didn't have enough money to pay our to pay our invoice at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And we've had to go into our savings and ask mates, not ask mates, but like Jai had to help us out.
Yeah.
To
that's a big part of business though.
To pay the invoice. No, Jai actually didn't help us out. He didn't help us out, and me and Bree didn't have the money, and we were like 15 grand. or something short. We did have the money, we had the savings, but it was fucking like all our savings at the time. So we put it in, and we said we won't pay ourselves this week. We'll pay everyone else because we got designer, we got two graphic,
Media people.
we got two media people. We got a warehouse chick. We got and a finance lady.
Yeah.
Like everyone, it's different when you're paying people, and
100%.
people have to be paid.
Because that's again, like, it's a misconception, right? It's like just because the business is growing and just because all of these kind of
there's a lot of pressure. Yeah,
there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of challenges that are thrown at you.
It's terrifying. Like with every drop I do, I shit myself because I don't know if everyone's gonna love it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's forecast into my month, and like you'll see that sometimes it still has been a little chaotic. You'll see us drop out of nowhere and do things, but it's all got a bit of a strategy behind it. Yeah. The one thing I learned with business is like you can have a plan, but there's a plan and then there's fucking reality.
Yeah.
That and then they're two completely different things. You can do all the forecasting in the world, but doesn't mean it's going to be exactly right. So you got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to adapt or die. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Jai, my mate, like when we didn't have the money, he had the money. He was going to spot us. We could have been sweet, but he wanted us to stress and feel the feeling of not having any, and feel the feeling of all the pressure of having to pay people and go through the stress because he's been through it before, and he's told us he had to pay like $100,000 on. He had payroll and there was $0 in the bank, and he had to remortgage his house at some stage. Like, he said that's just how it's going to get sometimes. So fucking get used to it.
Yeah.
He goes, I could have helped you out, but because I usually, if I have a problem, I just ring him and I say, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's it. I just ring him. I just know the ship will never sink. I just go, what are we doing?
Yeah.
From a financial side.
Yeah.
But
I think that, I mean,
and he just goes, I said, we're not going to make budget this month. We won't have enough money to pay the invoice. He goes, oh yeah, sweet. What are you going to do? I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I'll sort it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's these are the difficulties you go through. I think, like, once you start to expand and you've got staff, and you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's a multifaceted dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, all right, well, I want staff to feel good. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to do a really great job and feel like they're in that environment.
Yeah.
Also got to pay them.
Yeah.
And I've got to manage that.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got to pay them enough so that they are happy and they do feel secure. But then that's got to fit within this greater existence that is, a financial model or cash flow, and that's got to be profitable while we're still creating a great product and all of that. And then, sometimes, like you said, things don't go to plan.
Yeah, like we had a guy that was working for us, and we had to fire him. And I think he's the greatest bloke ever.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like, I fucking loved hanging out with him and doing everything, but it just wasn't adding up for us financially. It was like
it's hard.
And I had to say, mate.
How that's probably one of the most
the
nervous feelings ever.
Yeah.
I had to fire a mate of 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, we've been really good mates since the age of 19.
Yeah.
I had to fire him.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
Do you know what I mean?
But you got to get used to it.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy dynamic business, right? And there's so many moving parts.
So much going on.
And for, especially as a startup,
you
don't have a team of 20. You don't have unlimited money.
Yeah.
You don't have any of that.
And what the reason we didn't have money that month is because Jai, one thing he taught us was that we got to grow the business before the business grows. Mm-hmm. So, like, we didn't need a warehouse chick at the time. We didn't need an extra media person. What else? We got a warehouse bigger than what we needed, so that cost more. We grew. We put a finance chick on.
Mm-hmm.
So we did all this at once. So our fucking overheads went through the roof. So there was going to be a gap between that growth, between the business growing and us financially growing. But we didn't want to be financially growing and not have the structure of the business there to be able to, for it to be able to handle it. So like if we grew so quickly and we didn't have the warehouse chick trained up and ready to go when we did grow, we'd be in a shit
That can almost
position.
hurt you more.
Yeah, that would have hurt us. And if we didn't have our finance lady have all our finances in check, so you got to grow before you grow.
Yeah, that is such an important point.
Yeah,
110%, because what people don't realize is that it costs money to grow.
yeah,
Right? A lot of people just want to pay themselves. A lot of people just want to have an income.
yeah,
Right? And in reality, the money that you pay yourself for the comfy lifestyle that you have
yeah,
is energy the business could be using
yeah,
to get bigger and expand and grow.
yeah.
And it's a weird dynamic, because at some point you can take the wage and you can enjoy the fruits of business,
Yeah,
but not at the start.
yeah.
The start is
didn't
an
take-
absolute grind.
We're 14 months in. We didn't take a wage for 1 year. I was on Centrelink and that.
That's crazy,
I
man.
don't know how legal that was, but I was on the link.
well, mate, look, and again, it's the misconception
Yeah,
that it's easy,
yeah,
that it can just happen.
yeah. People think that we made it look. I think we have made it look easy, eh?
Well, it's the outsider's
Going in a year,
perspective, right?
yeah.
Like it's it's the gram.
Yeah, it's the
Instagram,
gram, yeah.
Instagram paints the best picture
Yeah.
of everyone's
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Meanwhile, as a business owner, you got a million fires that are just happening in the background.
Yeah, it's hectic doing it with my missus too. We're just like, got to really take time for the relationship too, because it's fucking. I don't know how many people out there working and living and doing everything together. We've done pretty well, but we do well together.
It's an interesting dynamic,
Yeah,
because you're mixing love and passion,
yeah,
right? And it's like that can create fire,
yeah,
because it's you both, so my partner worked with
We
me.
never fight over business, but
No, that's good.
which is really nice.
Yeah, that's good.
We never fight over business because we're doing two completely separate things.
roles.
Yeah,
And you did
we
mention
wouldn't even know what to fight about. You know what I mean?
it. Yeah, 100%. But I think it's a part of the, it adds to the journey as well. That's, like my partner, she's kind of working for our business now and coming in and
Yeah.
being a part of the company and
Yeah.
helping us grow and so on as well. So that's it's actually something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
So how do you see the expansion from here on in then? Like what are you actually trying to achieve? What's the grand vision?
Yeah, I want to be one of the biggest brands in Australia for sure in the next like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can see us. I feel like
I remember when I think we went for lunch
yeah,
when it very first started in St Kilda,
yeah,
and you said that you wanted to be the biggest unisex
yeah,
brand.
yeah. I still do. Yeah, I still do. But I also it's just there's no roof on clothes. Like
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
There's no roof. There's no I'm still just doing basics. Like I'm still doing tees, hoodies, sweaters. Like there's that much stuff I can move into. Having a full, completely different, separate women's range.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would need the right to do that. I think we'd start with a collaboration
Mm-hmm.
with someone big.
Like a partnership with another brand, or
Nah.
bringing in someone, an individual.
Maybe an individual. Not sure.
So one question I do have for you is how do you market your products, because you have a certain style,
Yeah.
right? You have a certain vibe. So like how do you market your products so that it relates, or it kind of like how do you think about the marketing side of it? Because is that something that you have to be really hands on with?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the back end with the, I know you said you mentioned that you have ads and so on.
Marketing, yeah. But yeah.
Because you guys have been mainly organic for quite, for the predominantly from the start.
We have been organic. And the selling out has been good, but the selling out keeps you small. Selling out keeps you small at the start, because selling out means you have nothing on your website, and nothing on your website means, mate, if I went to a website 3 times and they still had nothing, I'd never go back, if I'm honest.
It's interesting though, because like I remember when I was trying to buy, and I would miss the drop every time, but it just made me.
We still sell out, but we just still need to have stuff on the website. Like originally I thought, oh yeah, we'll just do one drop and then not restock. We still sell out on our original drops, but we have to do restocks, because if you got no one to, you need to have stock to be able to market. Yeah.
So, and when you say that, like, because obviously the strategy might be changing a little bit for you guys.
Yeah, strategy's changing, sort of coming out. It's just out of
necessity for expansion.
What do you mean?
So, like you said, because at the start you guys were selling out and you were doing drops, but now you're starting to expand.
Now we're starting to expand. Yeah. It's so important.
So you're starting to think more about, okay, we can't just be selling out all the time.
I'm starting to think about 100%. We can't be selling out. No, we always need to have stock. Yeah,
it's so interesting. I mean, you just don't think about these things from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah,
in business and all the like how again, you guys have been able to expand pretty quickly, but how clothing actually expands, as a company, and fashion.
Yeah.
And everything that goes into it, from needing to design 6 months ahead.
Yeah. Well, now if you see our range from March onwards, you'll see a lot of difference you'll see the business grow from March onwards. You see how much everything goes together.
Yeah.
Like full ranges coming together.
Yeah.
Like a bit all over the shop recently. We've just been designing what's cool, what we like, but now it's really starting to look a lot more. You'll see a lot more mature product for next year, for sure.
Yeah, amazing. So, one thing I wanted to also talk about was, you obviously went through a massive personal change when you started the business.
Yeah.
Obviously, and you made a big move out here and so on. Like, how do you see that, or like how important is that to obviously the success of the business as well?
So important. I wouldn't be able to do it. My number one thing was going sober and getting rid of all my bad habits and my hang-on friends and all that.
Yeah.
And just focusing, take yourself away from everything. You need to do it. You need to fucking become a recluse. I've had no friends for a year up here. I've got like a couple friends from boxing, but like haven't seen anyone for a year, and that's how that's how I've become successful.
How do you
successful yet? But
you're doing well, man.
Yeah.
And you got to give yourself that tap on the back, because you are doing well, bro.
Yeah.
You need to like.
That's
honestly.
that's a big. And me and Bree, we haven't done anything but work. We've fucking worked for the last 2 years, like last 14 months.
How do you manage that? Like, because that's, I mean, I've been through it. It's difficult.
It's not hard when you love it, eh?
Yeah, it's true.
It's not hard. Like, I don't get it. I never feel like I'm going to work. I would never. Only to be nice to my mates when they text me. They say, "What are you doing?" I just say, "I'm working." Like, because it is work, but like I have to get that word out of my mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's hard, man. Because you what else do you say?
Okay.
Right, that's the hardest thing. What else do you say?
Yeah.
Because I've been through it. Like, what do you say? Nah, I don't want to hang out.
What do you mean?
Like, you get a message and so on, but it's like, like I say the same thing. It's like, what are you doing? I'm working.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday. It's like, I don't, like,
Yeah.
for me, I like every single day,
Yeah.
I love to sit on my computer.
Yeah.
And just like work and
Yeah.
do the things and learn and do
Yeah.
these kind of things. And it's like, I don't see it that way. Like,
Yeah.
I don't sit there and go, oh, fuck, I've got to work today.
Yeah, neither do I.
But it's like when, and I think this is the hard thing, is like when somebody else asks you,
Yeah.
or like they're messaging you, or they want to do something, or it's like, why haven't you come out, or like, and
Yeah.
all these kind of things. Well, it's like, what's the word that we use? Work.
Yeah, work.
Right? And that's a weird dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, never feels like work.
No. But it's going through that, I think, as a business owner, is because it's an identity shift.
Sometimes it gets overwhelming. Sometimes I can feel it. I can feel the pressure I can feel the pressure in the last like couple months. December's been hectic for us.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get all our stuff done by Chinese New Year. The last few weeks has been fucking madness. And Christmas, we have our Christmas break, and then Chinese New Year happens. So it's sort of like everyone's off.
Yeah.
And you got to get all this stuff done before. So it's just been crazy, and I've definitely felt the pressure of it, like the growth, trying to get a hold of it all.
Mm-hmm.
How
do you manage the pressure, like personally?
Well, I just get it done, Just get it done. I have to like training and stuff is
Training's a big one for you.
Big one, yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't train, I'm a bit off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's these little things that you...
Yeah, there's a little thing that sort of fell out of my routines and stuff a little bit. Like I used to be religious for them, but I suppose that's what running a business and working for yourself. Like it's a lot easier when you get up in the morning and you got to go to work from 6 till 3. You know what your day looks like every day.
Yeah.
Never know what my day... I do know what my day looks like, but it's not the same every day.
You got to motivate yourself. You got to create your own structure.
Yeah, you got to create your own structure.
Routine.
Which is hard, yeah. But
100%.
Still doing well.
So we're gonna dive into quick fire now.
Yeah.
So this is just short, sharp questions
Yeah.
that we ask, but I don't want you to think you need to give a short answer.
Yeah,
You can just answer it however you
Okay.
want. All right. All right. So the first question: one piece of advice for your younger self.
That's not a quick fire question. One piece of advice. Just keep making mistakes. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Why? Why keep making mistakes?
That's how you get there. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to lose. Never be scared to lose. That's my fucking biggest strength. No fear of losing.
What do you mean by that?
I think I spoke to you about this on the last potty. If this business failed, I would not feel like I let down anyone but myself. But that's why we do well, because I took the risk to do it. Every day we take big risks in business. Everything's a risk.
And they're a necessity, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a necessity. But if you don't try, you'll never know.
Do you think that comes from gratitude? Like, so I've got I kind of feel similar, right? Like, there is always pressure in business, but it's like, man, I've been down there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, and I was happy.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not like I was like, yeah, like I wanted more, and I've grown a lot since then. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
But I've, like, you know, like, it's the same thing. Like,
yeah, I've been rock bottom that many times. I know how to get back up.
yeah.
So
that's a strength that plays into your ability to go and expand and take risks.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep taking risks.
Keep making mistakes. What advice would you give to someone thinking of starting a business?
I'd say don't do it on your own. Get the right people around you. If you don't know something, get someone who does. In the different. If you don't know business, get someone who knows business.
Do you think that's played a large role in your ability? You have expanded quickly.
Yeah, we got full structure for expansion. Like we have full structure for it.
And you think that comes from you've
from
surrounded yourself
from
with
having joy. I wouldn't be. I would just be shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be learning, but I wouldn't. He
slowly.
fucking knows.
Mm.
Yeah.
So surround yourself with a
good
like-minded
Yeah.
team that molds together really well.
Yeah. And go all in.
What does all in mean?
I just think fucking.
So what did you do? What did you do to go all in? Because you did.
Yeah, I did go all in. Yeah, I quit my job. I was working on
Construction.
working construction. Quit my job.
So it's monetary. Quitting job, like you would have had to buy stock. You would have had to invest a fair bit of
I
money.
invested all my money, every single cent I had. Yeah,
Every single cent. Quit your job.
quit my job,
Moved.
moved away. Yeah, dropped a lot of mates.
So go all in.
Go all in.
All right. So what do you think the most important part is in running a successful fashion business?
Successful. I think our most successful part is not following trends. Like my designer gave me a trend forecasting booklet for the next year
Mm-hmm.
with all the new trending colors
Mm-hmm.
and all the trending styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sent it back to her and I said, "Fuck that, we're not doing that. We use these colors. I'll pick in the colors." Like, and that's why you see you go into like H&M or like Zara, everyone was there. If you go in at the same time, a lot of them will have the same colors.
Mm.
We just go on what we like. That's been a massive part of it.
Going against the status quo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think that's so why do you think that makes you guys so successful? Why do you think? Because people love your product.
Yeah, people love it.
So why do you think going against the trends? Why do you think being different matters?
It's not against the trends. I just do what I like. I don't know how to explain it.
Do you think? The way I look at it is like, as starting a fashion business, right? You can look around you and see what's doing well.
Yeah.
And then it can be so easy to just fall into that trap because
Yeah.
the idea of having a successful business and making money quick
Yeah.
can quickly override
Yeah.
the reason that you actually started the business in the first place, or the style and the design that you truly want to create. What's original to you, the vibe and style that you're trying to create.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a part of it?
Say it again.
So the style, right?
Yeah, the style's definitely
the chase for this business. Like a lot of people would start a business and they go, "Well, that's working." Like how many people out there right now would look at Front Runner and say, "I want to do Front Runner."
Yeah.
We're gonna do Front Runner.
We're gonna do fucking oversized.
Yeah, exactly, right. And it's like, instead of doing what maybe is truly authentic to them or what they think,
Yeah.
right? It's easy to get caught up in the trap of, chasing the cash, the success, instead of doing what's authentic and what you truly believe in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's right.
All right, so last quick fire question.
Yeah.
What's been the most important factor in your development as a person throughout this journey?
Sober. Gone sober.
What's been the ripple effect from that?
Everything's better. Everything. I'm not fully sober anymore, but I was sober for 12 months, clean, nothing. I can have a couple beers now. I went to a yacht party the other night. Black tie event.
Yeah.
Had a few beers, went home. But when you were like I was, there's no in between. But yeah, that's, mate, if you're clear-headed all the time, imagine, so go out on the weekend, you lose Saturday, you lose Sunday, then you lose Monday and Tuesday and a little bit of Wednesday. How
Yeah.
much productivity does that leave you in the week?
Yeah.
I've
Thursday and
just
Friday.
added 5 days more productivity than I was getting
Yeah.
for a full
yeah,
year. It fucking adds up.
definitely. And I think everything just gets better around you.
Everything gets better, yeah.
You know, like you start to realize that a lot of the reason that maybe things weren't going your way
Yeah.
was probably because it was all self-inflicted.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, like I think that's one of the things for me as well.
Yeah.
And like best thing I ever did
Yeah.
was just say fuck this.
Yeah. Retired.
Once a year, twice a year,
Yeah.
if that,
Yeah.
and that's it. Because I'm a better person to everyone around me
Yeah.
when I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
a much
man,
better
pissed.
person. Yeah, and you know, from a productivity standpoint, when you care about something so much,
Yeah.
it's
can't-
not
and
it's not about feeling shit.
Yeah.
It's about the fact that you know
You can be better.
you can be better and you care about this thing.
Yeah.
You really care about this thing,
Yeah.
and it fucking sucks when you do have that Sunday and Monday, and you feel shit and you know that you could have been better that week. That's the big thing for me.
That's the only thing in my life that gives me anxiety is when I know I can be better.
Mm.
I get anxious sometimes when I know that and then I know I'm not being my best self.
When you're moving outside of alignment of what
Yeah.
you're really wanting to do.
You know you can be better, yeah.
100%.
Oh,
All right,
flicks,
man.
People here. All right, legend.
I want to say a massive thank you for hosting us in this beautiful factory.
Thanks, Ledge.
Thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Thanks, bro.
And to everyone else who's tuning in and listening in, a big thanks to you guys for listening. This is coming out in the new year, so this will be one of the first in the new year.
Yeah.
Kicking it off with a bang.
Woohoo!
So Front Runner, where can everyone find you?
Front Runner AU on Instagram.
Get on it, guys. Best teas.
Thanks, guys.
Period.
Period.